This is your boy Larry Jones back at you with one more episode of the One Mic Show. Today's guest is my man Pennal Johnson, a longtime friend of mine. I know I always say that, but it's the truth. I know these guys. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here. A lot of you musicians know him. He's a musician's musician, but a lot of the public really don't know about Pennal Johnson. He's been around for a long time. He's been putting it down. He's played for a lot of great people, a lot of great artists. He's a great artist himself. And I had the pleasure of being with him at Reggie's.
Yeah, man.
Him and Ethan Farmer. And those guys threw down. The whole house was full of bass players. Name some bass players that were there.
Thaddeus Johnson was there. Mm-hmm. Some of the guys from the secular side of Chicago, downtown Tony Brown, and man, the list could go on.
Goes on and on. Billy Dickens
was there. Yeah, that I can remember because that night was so much of a.
It was it was a music explosion.
It was a beautiful, humbling, exciting night. It really was. I felt a lot of love in the room.
It was.
It felt like every year I go to the NAMM show, and the NAMM show hosts, this convention to advertise the latest instruments, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Like from a microphone stand to $1 million upright bass or whatever. Right. But anyway. My point is that, people really respect each other for what they do.
Exactly.
And it's not about, I can do this better or more.
Right.
It's about the respect for the musicianship and the work and the art of it.
And that's what I like about this business, especially with the more seasoned guys. There's guys, as you and I know, that never tour, but are beast on whatever their instruments are, and they haven't toured, but they still have the respect because they have it. They just choose to use it here. So you can use your gift anywhere. And that mutual level of respect. There was a lot of respect in the house that night. There was a lot of love in the house that night.
Yeah.
And it was just, it did me good. Like I was sitting at the table with Billy, and we were just talking while you were playing. He was just like, oh man, that's hot. That's hot. And that did me good to hear somebody like himself on his statue, which Billy is a beast himself.
Yeah.
To just sit back and enjoy another bass player, and that's what it's all about. Some of the young cats missed out on that, man, that mutual love that, that we came up on. But I want you to talk about your beginnings as a bass player. What was the bug that bit, and how did you start out with bass, as opposed to any other instrument?
Wow. My cousin, Rex Peel, Pastor Rex Peel now, we grew up in the same apartment building.
Right.
On the west side, Polk Street and Kizzy on the west side.
The best side.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Don't get me started.
And, my auntie, she let me go downstairs and hang out, with my cousins.
Right.
And, Ella Peel.
Yep.
Pastor Ollie Peel, he's passed on now.
Yeah.
But, I was just down there.
Right.
And Rex walked up to me. He said, "You look like a bass player." Boom.
Wow.
That's how I started. Let me bring this up that we did the radio show, and you were telling me about, you brought back to my memory about the bass that I made.
Oh, yes.
I was a freshman.
You was a freshman in high school.
In high school.
Yeah.
And I saw you, it was at, Church of God in Christ, First Jurisdiction. We used to have like a music competition. The categories was like the choir,
right,
the band,
yeah,
and the directors and soloists.
Right.
I could be missing out, but that was like the nuts and bolts of it.
Yes.
And I saw you play a black
headless Steinberg I had.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
And you know, I was at the time I was playing my cousin's bass,
right,
Rex bass. So, graduated, you know, out of grammar school, went to high school, hooked up in woodshop, and the first question that I asked the woodshop teacher, can I make a bass?
Wow. Wow.
He just looked at me, and I was like, I'm serious, can I make a bass? So I went to a store, I don't know what store, Elder Peel took me to the store,
okay,
and I had a cardboard, a big cardboard.
Like a template?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked the guy, can I set the bass on here? And I just traced it.
Wow.
I traced it.
That's crazy.
And I folded it up and I took it back to the wood shop.
The good old days of first.
Yeah, man. It was like, those days were, it was like a breeding ground for being innovative.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And you guys was like the A-list players. So I know a lot of the younger guys probably don't know what that is. It's like we used to sit around and wait till like Tarian service.
Right.
To say, you know, if you get tired, if you happen to get
right,
tired.
Right, I got you.
And we were just like, just waiting.
Right, waiting.
You know,
yeah.
so
it'd be a line of drummers waiting.
Man, yeah. And you know, just, you know, doing that taught me, even till today, about being humble.
That's true.
And then being under Mother LaVanya Whitley.
Oh,
now,
yes, yes.
She was like, you know, if you was acting crazy,
yeah.
she was use the phrase,
yep.
you in your own ministry.
Yeah, yeah, you got your own ministry
right.
going on.
And that taught me always watch.
Yep.
Be ready.
Yes.
And be humble.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was we came up under some. She was a great teacher. I mean, back then, yeah, Terry Sanders, her son, Robert, or Bobby Whitley, we called him Bobby. He posted a picture on Facebook the other day,
sure did.
Him on the set.
Yeah.
You know, Sam Edwards was a pocket drummer.
Yeah.
Those were the days, Steve and Ed Showers on the organ, and those were the days, you know. Absolutely.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
That's a pleasant memory. It really is, man.
So when you went through that and you went through your teaching and your training and all of that, what was the first leg up on a serious gig that you got? Well, who was your first serious gig?
Well, to briefly go back to the Church of God in Christ, this particular year that we were in competition, I played for like, I think 7 or 8 districts that particular year.
Yeah, yeah.
And one thing that Mother LaVanya Whitley told me was play soft. She said, if you can't hear the vocals, you're playing too loud.
Right.
And I did that. I just did it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned the music for that time the best that I could.
Right.
But I played under the vocals.
Right.
And during that time, a lot of cats just wailed.
They just wailed. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I thought of what she said.
Right.
If I physically can't hear the vocals you play, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And for every district that I played for, for bass, I won.
Yes.
And the person who was distributing the awards was Reverend Jesse Dixon.
That's right. That's right. Yes, I remember that.
It was Reverend Jesse Dixon. So from there, from that moment, that he was the first one that was my professional encounter.
There you go. And then I remember I had a Jesse Dixon story. Jesse was going out on the road. Jesse was going out on the road. He was going over to Europe, and he had asked me to go to Europe with him. And at the time, I couldn't go. And you were one of the names that I dropped. I says, Pennal Johnson, and he had already knew about you. And so I don't know if you guys had talked, but I told him I just couldn't go.
Well, I guess it had to have been after that conversation.
Okay.
Because he contacted Mother LaVanya Whitley.
Okay.
She contacted my auntie.
Oh, I see.
And he actually came over to the west side to meet with my parents.
Yeah.
You know, my mom and my auntie.
Okay.
And he tried me out doing a tour in Florida.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I met the real Reverend Dixon.
Yes.
About the business.
About the business. And he was a businessman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was a businessman. He didn't play.
No, he didn't play. And that type of thing you can have. And that's another thing that I learned. I learned and I'm continuing to learn at different levels, is that whoever you've been blessed to work with,
right,
you have to deal with their level of expectation, their opinion, and what they want.
Yeah. So, and you know what? Transitions really
make or break you.
Make or break. It'll make or break a record. It'll make or break you as a musician.
Right.
Because playing a groove, you can learn a groove. Playing a verse, you can play the verse. But it's the transitions, it's the movements. You know, one of the guys that I want to bring up was Steve Huff, man. That was, you know, when you came along, I think that the two guys, it was myself and Steve Huff.
Yeah.
Steve Huff, I loved his transitions. He was just so smooth with it. Yeah. A big shout out to Steve Huff.
Oh yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Enough said.
That's a whole nother level, whole nother story.
But during that time though, it from what we were looking at it was you. It was more so, I seen more so you than Steve. Steve was during that time working with the Thompson Community Singers.
Yeah,
you were more present.
Yeah.
And he was there, when we go out to the church in Evanston and stuff like that.
Right.
And with Bishop Moody.
Right.
And but it was you, Steve, Darwin.
Yep, Darwin Jacks.
And I forget the gentleman's name from Elgin.
I forget his name too, but I know who you're talking about.
These are, but it was you. Because it's like that pattern, boom, dumping technique. So
yeah, I remember you asking me, and we're going over that, man. But man, you took the whole nother. You way better thumper than I am. I could ever be. Because the show that I'm gonna play you some snippets at Reggie's, man, was just off the chain. You and Ethan, man, y'all put it down. The Avengers, man, oh my goodness, you guys put it down.
Like I said, that night was one of those moments. Yeah. It was the right place. Yeah. It was the right time, and it was the right people.
The right crowd. Yeah.
The right crowd.
I stayed till 3 o'clock in the morning. That was way past my bedtime. But I'm used to being in here at night, but not on the north side. But man, you guys, what I like is you guys played and you ministered, and the house was mixed. You had some of the north side rock crowd, and you had a lot of R&B crowd there. But I like what you guys do. You play, and it's funk, and it's some toe jam funk. But you guys slide some ministry in there. That's what I like. What's the young lady that sings with you?
Audrey Shear.
Audrey Shear. And you guys, she sang, and then you guys slid some ministry in there and offered these people some hope. I really like that. It's really different. It's like you're taking the church outside of the four walls, and you're bringing it to them and presenting it in a really nice and a different package.
Basically, people are tired. People are tired.
Right.
People are frustrated. So what I try to do is to try to make them feel good with some really good feel-good dancing music.
For the time that you have them.
Right, exactly.
It's an escape. Somebody just got yelled at work or whatever.
Yeah, because my concept of a club or a theater or a venue, it can be as small as maybe like a 200 room, 200 folk room, or Yankee Stadium. Right. Capture them. Yeah. With what they come to see. Right. And then right in the middle of the presentation, introduce Christ. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was saying this to a musician, young musician the other day, and he was looking at some of the touring cats, and I says, that doesn't matter. I says, and he plays for his church. And I says, when these guys get off tour, some of these guys they're playing a small club. I says, how many people in your church? And he says, about 200. I says, you're playing for 200 people every week. So I never thought about it that way. I says, absolutely. And some of these guys, they're playing for places that, a bar that only holds 100 and, or 75 people. You're playing for 200 people a week. I said, treat it like a gig.
Yeah, you have
with the same amount of respect as far as getting prepared for it. It ain't like yourself. You play for a 10,000 seat House of Hope. And that's the church that you play for. So and I know you treat it just like you're playing for Jesse Dixon, overseas.
I was having the same conversation with Minister Walter Owens. He's a minister of music at Salem,
Mm-hmm.
House of Hope.
Yes.
And I told him it's no difference to me.
Exactly.
I mean, because I respect,
Mm-hmm.
on the natural side, I respect the genre.
Right.
Because people, let's say, go back to the club situation. To me, the Buddy Guy
Right.
club
Mm-hmm.
environment of people
Yes.
are the best.
Yeah.
Because they love music.
They love music. I've been there numerous times. They
Right.
love
that
music.
audience loves
Yes.
music.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are most receptive
Mm-hmm.
to introduce Christ.
Yes, that's true.
You know
Because
what I'm
they're
saying?
receptive to whatever you're feeding them at that time.
And they look at gospel just like they look at blues, just
Yeah,
like
they
they
do.
look at jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and it's not a situation where I don't want to hear Jesus. They want to hear it.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, but you have to be led at that moment.
Right.
Because different shows require different approaches.
Mm-hmm.
Some situations you got to like do with your thing, but we still
Right.
introduce Christ, but we still, because we're on a time restraint,
Yeah.
but we work it.
Yeah. And
You
I
know,
saw
guys-
you guys do it well. You know, I'm looking at your bio here, and I see Andre Crouch, Kirk
Yeah.
Carr, Abraham. Well, you play with Abraham?
Well, the connection with Abraham Laborio was
Mm-hmm.
when I was touring with Reverend Dixon.
Okay.
His band Cornelia
All right.
we were opening up for him.
Yeah.
And on many sets that
Mhm.
we toured over the years with these two working together,
Right.
he would let me sit in and play for him backup bass.
Yeah, you know. Now, I also know that you have some endorsements. Talk about your bass endorsements.
Well, the bass endorsement I've been blessed with is Win Guitars.
Just like the hotel, W-Y-N. Okay.
And the Luther's name, or the guitar maker's name, his name is Randy
Okay.
Fullman.
Mm-hmm.
And he is, by the way, Abraham Laborio also endorses that bass.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Actually, he's the one that helped me
Yes.
get the endorsement. Him and another gentleman that's endorsed with that same company introduced me. It was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago at the NAMM show,
Okay.
and they just introduced me, and he gave me a bass. He said, "Play,"
Cool.
and I played it, and man, it just felt natural to me. And I was playing. I played gospel songs that I knew,
Okay.
and
What
and
type of, I mean, it's beautiful woodwork
oh
on
yeah.
this bass. What type of pickups you have in there? What type of wood and all of that? What is it composite,
Well, the body part
composed of, rather?
Yeah, the body is whinge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a neck through bass.
Okay.
And neck through means it's one piece of wood
Continuous piece of wood.
going through the body of the
Right.
wings of the bass.
Mm-hmm.
That part of it, the neck through is maple, purple heart, and whinge.
Okay.
And it gives you a variety of high-end options
I see.
as far as the sound.
Right.
And you know, the wings or the body
Mhm.
consists of the bulk of that is called alder.
Yes.
That's what fenders are made of.
Yes, that alder wood
Yeah,
carries
it's-
a nice, rich, warm tone.
Exactly. And then you can very easily get it's because alder is kind of like the mid-range area of a bass guitar, because
Right.
mid-range, if you can design your mid-range to cut through. That's what cuts through.
Mm-hmm.
Highs, lows, but mid-range cuts through. Top layer is really for it's not a decoration. It
It's
has a
more for
part.
looks, because alder
Yeah.
is not a pretty wood.
Right.
And then they usually put a topping on it to give it something pretty.
That top wood
Yes.
is. He asked me what would be my dream bass. I
Yeah.
said something that would have buckeye wood in it.
Okay, because it's very exotic looking.
Yeah, it's buckeye wood, and then underneath there is walnut.
Okay.
Walnut is kind of like another wood. It's kind of like a sharper or harsh.
Yeah.
It's a harsh mid-range type wood.
Yes. Yeah.
And then under that is wingay.
Mm-hmm.
That's warmer.
Right.
It's kind of like a cross between a warm mids and low end, like
Right.
warm bass.
So you got them all covered.
Right, and then the back part of it, the very last piece of it
Mhm.
is it's flame maple.
You're right. Right.
You know, for as far as like when you have the body, it's like it brings out various options of highs.
Right.
And then when you get all these pieces of wood together, and the pickups, electronics are Nordstrom pickups. These pickups are made to be
not Nordstrom.
Right, Northstrand.
Northstrand. Okay.
Northstrand pickups.
Yeah. What's next for PJ Soul? What do you envision PJ Soul going? I mean, you guys, for what you do, I think that you guys are just you guys are like cutting edge throwback, if that makes any sense. You're cutting edge in one way, but you're a throwback in another. What I mean by that is real music. You guys are bringing it like real music, man. I really enjoyed the band.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it was just real music, but it's cutting edge in a way because it's like your presentation is different, and it's like you guys really stand out.
But the mission statement for my band is help. Just help. Because I consider myself, and I've been praying about this, this could probably be like a sub name title for PJ and Soul, or PJ like Messenger.
Yeah, I get it.
And you know, my goal out of that concept is to be the Christ image, to plant the seed where this group of people normally wouldn't get it, when they live a lifestyle where it's not involving church.
Yes.
You know,
because you want to reach outside the church.
Exactly. And I want to do it in a way where it's respectable to them, and it's cunning, and it's crafty, but it gets them. It's almost like a fisherman. Yeah. You know, so now the other part of the direction is to reach the world. You know, through
that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, to reach, I mean, the planet. You know, just to spread the good news. And you know, I understand, and this might sound kind of weird, because in the church, at least my thought of the church is a one package deal. Yeah. But for me, it's not.
Yeah, it's like a mono package deal.
My thing is like, I want to introduce, I want to plant the seed. I'm good at that. And then if it happens to be that somebody approached me at the end of the show, okay, who was Christ? Then I take on that role. I want to really expose the beauty of music that God has given us. Yes. It's not just, it's not, and don't get me wrong, it's not just what Thomas Dorsey.
Don't apologize, just say it.
It's not just the piano, the organ.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? And,
it was then, right? It's not now.
Exactly. Yeah. And what I'm trying to be, I want to. Funk is beautiful.
It is a beautiful
Bluegrass is beautiful.
It is.
Blues
is
beautiful. I think the different styles, genres of music is nothing more than vehicles to carry the passenger, which is the Word of God. Yeah. And people that might see, that will see this probably don't know or have an inkling that how in depth I'm thinking about Christ or introducing Christ to them. Right. Because when they see me,
because they're already caught fish.
Gotcha.
Yes. You know, that's what it is. They're already caught fish, and they don't understand. A lot of people don't understand the bait that it took to catch you is not going to catch all of the fish. They need different bait. And that's what you guys are bringing. I witnessed it. That's what you guys bring, and that's what you brought that night at Reggie's, which you're going to see some clips of right after this interview. Where can people contact you or reach you at? A website, Facebook?
It's a couple of places. My main website is on Reverb Nation. It's actually www.reverbnation.com/ Pennal PJ Johnson. That's PENNAL PJ JOHNSON. Let me say this: we just got signed by Chicago Entertainment Agency.
Oh, okay, great.
So you can also go there. this agency, booking agency, is where, at least in Chicago, it's a global agency, but locally, like for the Chicago Fest, Lollapalooza, when they want to select local talent, they go to this site. So
that's great.
If you go to Chicago Entertainment Agency and look up P. Janso, we're there.
Right. Okay. Great. Great. Well, we're gonna cut it off right here, and I could talk to you all night, man. And
same here, man.
You know, just do a little music and go from there. This has been another episode of the One Mic Show. This is my friend and buddy Pennal Johnson. Some people say Parnell, but it's actually Pennal Johnson. There again, been knowing this guy pretty much all his life and all my life.
Man, you've been a blessing to me, man.
Man, you've been.
I really appreciate everything that you're doing. I mean, because this is like a venue that younger cats can learn from. And it's just, it's like I learned from you when I was, hey, you know.
Well, you know what? That's why we put this show together, so musicians can hear from guys like you that's out there doing it. And this is just like you said, this is just a venue, an avenue. This is just a street. So, you know, people want to hear from the musician. We hear from the artists all the time. They get a time to talk, you know, but the musicians rarely get a chance to talk. I mean, I look, you know, we cut on TV. I cut on the TV the other day, Wendy Williams and Rex was on the drum. You know, and it's just like every time, just about every week we cut on the TV, and it's somebody from Chicago. You know, as one of the Chicago cats. And it would be nice for somebody to just, you know, I love the artists, turn that mic over to the musicians. And, you know, get their stories, because they're traveling. They're on the road. They're on tour buses, and they're on airplanes, and waking up in hotels, and waking up, spending the night in airports. So, you know, so I think you earn the right to say, hey, this is my life too, because everybody has a story. Well, this is one more episode of the One Mic Show, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.